And it's split between the awakening collective and the ones who have forgotten. See, because we all come in whole, completed, remembering why we chose to come to this planet. And then over the process of socialization and conditioning, we have been programmed or trained by society to give our power away. And this isn't anyone's fault or wrongdoing. Before our species was evolved enough, there needed to be rules and restrictions in order to keep the peace, to keep structure. But as we are awakening, it has caused us to fragment off and forget why we chose here. And what I'm seeing now is a life path of fragmentation, which makes your embodiment of consciousness get smaller and smaller and smaller. Because when that fragmentation happens through being told not to do something or through significant trauma, a part of us stays stuck in that memory, if not reintegrated. If we don't do our work to go back and rescue those pieces that we've left. So I'm seeing that there is one life path where the fragmentation just continues until the life force is no longer feeding that embodiment. And then, of course, the dying process happens. And then I'm seeing the collective that is awakening and remembering. And a lot of us, not all of us, but a lot of us chose in with very difficult life paths in the beginning. We chose to come into ancestry lines that had a lot of repetitive fragmentation and then dying, and no one in that ancestry line really waking up completely to their divinity, or maybe waking up and then in that waking up getting more trauma that happens. So we chose these difficult life paths where we experienced a significant amount of trauma or came into a family that was very in resistance to us, and we kept going until one day we found a tool, or we stumbled upon something that awoken a part within us, and we were able to recover that piece of us that we left. And then I know for myself, after you do that a few times, you start to desire to share that with other people, like in a desperate attempt to save everyone else from the pain that you had to experience, or that you did experience. And what came very clear to me the other day was that everyone that I've worked with and helped to guide them to remembering their own healing ability within them, they all were like me in some way. And when you go about being a teacher, being a helper, being a healer, and you're doing it from a vibration of trying to rescue, because you may be unconscious to the fact that you're really trying to rescue yourself, then it can come from an impure vibration that isn't aligned with source. And a lot of the times that's when we don't end up helping someone, or they don't heal completely, or we get in our own way. And so the message that I've been receiving loud and clear this week is that we have to release what we are in resistance to, what we think we should and shouldn't be doing. And when we are getting messages, getting wrapped up in how we can possibly do that. But when those visions come in, it strikes this vibration within you of this knowing, this remembering, this desire to go towards. It's important now that if you're getting those messages and those feelings, to bypass that programming, bypass that belief system that no longer serves you. Remember that it is not your job to worry about the how. That is the universe's job. And as long as you continue to stay stuck and stagnant until you have the map laid out ahead of you and how you're going to do it and what you're going to do and all of this stuff, you're going to miss your opportunity. You're going to miss the door that the universe is opening, telling you to go. I've seen a collective clearing with everyone that I've come in contact with in the last 2 weeks. It's like the synchronicities are so loud and clear, you can't even miss them. I can't even miss them. And like, for instance, February 16th, everyone that I came into contact with was clearing self-worth or struggling with feeling like they weren't enough. And when we're going through this clearing process, if you are on the path of awakening and life, then you need to be mindful of your thoughts, feelings, and emotions, working through them, and not getting wrapped up in limiting beliefs. It's time to release your resistance to taking action. Just go. When that door is opened by the universe, just go. Understand that until you take that leap of faith, you will always fear, because you don't have your proof. But without taking that leap of faith, you'll never have your proof. When we are conditioned to give our power away, we cannot hear, feel, see, or know what our intuition is telling us. I feel that a few years ago, when this massive resurgence, at least in my reality, came up where people were seeking to activate their psychic abilities, I felt that that was like an awakening within the collective that was remembering their divine nature before the programming. It's like a calm, distant echo in the wind. You can kind of hear it, but it's not fully in tune yet. Just understand that no one can teach you something that is already yours. It's about remembering. It's about removing these limiting programs of fear, control, shame, one way fits all. We are clearing the polarities, and now is the time to make a choice. I understand and I have compassion for the road that you have traveled. No matter what you've been through, we've all had our stuff. And it is hard to get up and go forward when you don't have any proof telling you that it's going to be any different. But the one power and control that you have is your level of consciousness. The more conscious that you become, the safer that you are, because that is when you can see the truth beyond the illusions. Now is the time. If you are getting visions to start communities or to revolutionize the school systems or the justice systems or anything like that, please contact me or someone else that you hear that is getting these same messages so you can connect with your tribe, because you do have a great mission. I can promise you that. If you are getting these visions and feelings, you do. You're remembering. It's just not fully activated yet. And until you go towards it, you're not going to be able to see it clearly. You have to walk in the direction of where that's coming from in order to hear it, in order to see it, in order to know it. So just take a leap of faith. Understand that the greatest thing about hitting rock bottom is that you no longer have the fear of falling. So stand up and leap. I've also been seeing a lot of people that are having relationships fall apart. And I'm seeing that this is because we're clearing malefic connections, where we've been taught that someone else completes us and we're looking for our other half. But that in and of itself is a program, and it's a lie, it's an illusion, because you were created completely whole with everything that you needed inside of yourself. It's when you are filling up your own cup of self-love that you come together with your divine partnership, and you no longer need to pull energy from each other in order to survive. We're clearing that in the collective, so you're going to see those relationships that have been codependent, narcissistic, and all of that, all of those dysfunctional patterns. We're clearing it, and as we're clearing it, it's making you not a match to those connections, at least not for the time being, while you do your inner work. You go inside of yourself and you reintegrate those fragments and fractures that you misplaced sometime in your past. So the more work that you do internally, the better your life becomes. And as I'm saying that, I'm seeing a beautiful rainbow outside my window, and that is my acknowledgement from Source that this message is completed. So if you would like to get in touch with me, I would love to help you in any way I can, activate your gifts, or connect you with your tribe.